All right, we're going to call to order the Capital Budget Committee for February 26th. And on the schedule is 7 bills for executive session. And we will have the staff brief us, then we'll go into caucus. We'll take a short break, go into caucus, and then come back and make our decisions. So if we could just start with, just go through them as they're numbered on the agenda, that'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. John Wilson, DePaley Committee staff. As a brief reminder, engrossed Senate Bill 5344 creates a school modernization loan program that provides planning grants and modernization construction loans to school districts and state tribal education compact schools with significant building deficiencies. Substitute Senate Bill 5667 deals with compensation through the Forestry Riparian Easement Program, or FREP. Among the changes, the bill increases the easement amount offered to small forest landowners from 50% to 90% of the value of qualifying timber, and increases payment for qualifying timber on unstable slopes from $50,000 to $150,000. There is one amendment, WILG 038, sponsored by Representative Theringer, which makes the following changes to the bill. Compensation for qualifying timber in the FREP program goes from 90% to 70% of value compared to current law, which is 50%. And maximum compensation for qualifying timber on unstable slopes or landforms goes from $150,000 to $100,000, and current law, again, is $50,000. Senate Bill 5789 changes the school construction assistance program formula so that the state pays the full sales and use tax levied on all costs chargeable to a school construction project funded through this program.
Any questions on either of those, on that first bill or the second bill? Go ahead.
Number 4, 5955, relates to mitigating noise around large port districts. No amendments.
Any questions? Go ahead, staff.
Number 5, engrossed substitute Senate Bill 6039 relates to promoting the development of geothermal energy resources, and the striking amendment from the Environment Committee is what was briefed in committee last week. There is also an amendment to the striking amendment that replaces language dealing with tribal consultation.
And that amendment will be withdrawn. We'll do that when we come back formally. All right.
Good morning. Engrossed substitute Senate Bill 6040 deals with prompt payment in public works projects. The amendment, there's one amendment, it's a striking amendment. It strikes the underlying bill and adds a requirement that the Capital Projects Advisory Review Board review the extent to which prompt payment statutes meet the needs of small businesses, particularly women and minority-owned businesses, as well as has the board make findings and any recommendations the board develops. The board's to engage stakeholders as part of its work.
Any questions? Seeing none. Final bill.
And the final bill, substitute Senate Bill 6192, deals with change orders for public works projects. It adds private contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers to the 30-day change order statute. There are no amendments.
Any questions? So seeing none, we will break for caucus. Why don't we take 20 minutes? And so we'll be back around 8:25 or so, 8:20, 8:25. Don't see any questions, so committee is on break for caucus. All right, the Capital Budget Committee is going to reconvene for executive session. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that substitute Senate Bill 5667 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
Substitute House Bill 5667 has been reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Are there amendments?
There are. I move Wilch 038.
Wilch 038 is my amendment, and what we did is we agreed to move the bill forward, but we wanted to adjust the compensation piece of that, and we basically split the difference. I think this is an important program, as we've heard testimony on. I think we've been in front of us for a number of years, and the hope is to move it forward with these ratios of compensation to help strengthen and maintain our small forest landowners. And I think the major challenge in all forestry is to limit the amount of conversion. And our hope is that by increasing this, we'll be able to address that. Any other discussion? Representative Abbarno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to move Amendment Wills 0381.
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, for doing that. I mean, Mr. Ranking Member, that's very good.
And Representative Waters will speak on that.
All right.
I thought it was your amendment, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Go ahead, Representative Waters.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We support this bill. It doesn't give maybe everything we wanted to see by going from 150,000 down to 100,000 and with 90% down to 75%. But we look at this as still a win for our small timber owners and for the DNR to be able to help the small timber owners. So we encourage yes. Thank you.
And I will just ditto those comments. And I think there is some discussion about these percentages that are in the amendment, and we might have to make some adjustments on the floor. But at this time, I'm urging a yes vote. Any other discussion? The amendment has been moved and seconded. Madam Vice, it has been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Mr. Chair, I would like to move that the amendment be incorporated into a striking amendment.
But we need to move the amendment first, I think.
I guess we do, sorry
So
about
all
that.
those in
Yeah,
favor of the
we are-
amendment say
we are
say
serious
aye.
opponents here. Aye.
All those opposed, the same. It appears the amendment is adopted. Yes, the amendment is adopted. So, Madam Vice Chair.
All right, now I get to say my piece. I'm so excited. All right. I move that the amendment be incorporated into a striking amendment and that Senate Substitute Bill 5667 be reported out of committee with a due pass as amended.
It has been moved and seconded that Substitute House Bill 5667 be reported out of committee with a due pass as amended. Any other discussion? Representative Waters?
I'm sorry, I gave my final speech on the amendment. But overall, I mean, we want good policy for small timber owners, so we encourage a yes vote. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion? We agree. We think this moves the policy forward. As I said, we might make some tweaks to these ratios on the floor, but urging a yes vote. And I think we could probably do an expedited voice vote. So all of those in favor of moving Substitute Senate Bill 5667 as amended out of the committee with a due pass recommendation signify by saying aye. 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 All those opposed, the same. And excused are Representative Cheney, McIntyre, and Dye. Does anyone wish to change their vote as represented on the tally? Staff will announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 26 ayes, 0 nay, 3 excused, and 0 absent.
And also note that Representative Hackney and Representative Fossey are represented online. By your vote, Substitute House Bill 5667 as amended has been moved out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Right. engross second substitute bill.
Yes, I appreciate that. So engross second Senate Substitute Bill 5955 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
It has been moved and seconded that engross second substitute Senate Bill 5955 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Are there amendments?
There are no amendments.
There's no amendments. So discussion on final passage. Representative Orwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to urge a yes vote. Very grateful to my senator. This was a team effort we did with our cities, with our community leaders, and we were able to reach an agreement with the port to take an important first step to help those homeowners whose noise packages have failed. And so I think you've heard stories of people that have been waiting 8, 10, sometimes over 20 years, and we think this will provide some much needed relief. Urge your support.
Any further discussion? Representative Abbarno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I most certainly feel and sympathize with those property owners and the folks who are living in and around those ports. I'm going to be urging a no today, mainly because there's a legal doctrine coming to the nuisance in which when you know there's a nuisance and you either move to the nuisance or purchase property in nuisance, it kind of restricts your ability to then sue when you knew there was a nuisance there. In my community, we're really impacted by things like, the railroad that goes right through town. We created a lot of different local solutions for that. Rather than go to the state, we, created grant programs to soundproof buildings and to work on window soundproofing and double painting them and dealing with that at a local level rather than going to the state for it. So again, I sympathize with those folks, suffering from noise pollution and other things like that. But we just don't think that it's appropriate to interject ourselves in that type of situation. So I'm asking for no vote.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, staff will call the roll.
Representative Theringer.
Aye.
Representative Theringer votes aye. Representative Callan.
Callan votes aye.
Representative Callan votes aye. Representative Hackney.
Hackney votes aye.
Representative Hackney votes aye. Representative Abbarno.
Nay without recommendation.
Representative Abbarno votes nay without recommendation. Representative McClintock.
McClintock votes nay without
Representative McClintock votes nay without recommendation. Representative Steele.
Steele votes nay, do not pass.
Representative Steele votes nay, do not pass. Representative Alvarado.
Alvarado votes aye.
Representative Alvarado votes aye. Representative Bateman. Representative Bateman votes aye. Representative Cheney.
Cheney's excused.
Representative Christian.
Nay, do not pass.
Representative Christian votes nay, do not pass. Representative Dye.
She's excused. Representative Dye is excused.
Representative Eslick.
Representative Eslick votes no, do not pass.
Representative Eslick votes nay, do not pass. Representative Farivar.
Farivar, aye.
Representative Farivar votes aye. Representative Fossey.
Fossey, aye.
Representative Fossey votes aye. Representative Kloba.
Aye.
Representative Kloba votes aye. Representative Kretz. Representative Kretz votes nay, do not pass. Representative Levitt.
Levitt votes aye.
Representative Levitt votes aye. Representative Maycumber. Nay without rec. Representative Maycumber votes nay without recommendation. Representative McIntyre.
McIntyre is excused.
Representative Morgan.
Morgan votes aye.
Representative Morgan votes aye. Representative Mosbrecher.
Mosbrecher votes nay without recommendation.
Representative Mosbrecher votes nay without recommendation. Representative Orwell.
Orwell votes aye.
Representative Orwell votes aye. Representative Peterson.
Peterson votes aye.
Representative Peterson votes aye. Representative Reed.
Reed votes aye.
Representative Reed votes aye. Representative Rule.
Rule votes aye.
Representative Rule votes aye. Representative Sandlin.
Sandlin votes nay, do not pass.
Representative Sandlin votes nay, do not pass. Representative Shavers.
Aye.
Representative Shavers votes aye. Representative Stearns.
Aye.
Representative Stearns votes aye. Representative Waters.
Waters votes nay, do not pass.
Representative Waters votes nay, do not pass.
Does any member wish to change their vote as it appears on the tally? Seeing none, staff will announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 16 ayes, 10 nays, 3 excused, and 0 absent.
By your vote, engrossed second, substitute Senate Bill 5955 is reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that engrossed substitute Senate Bill 6039 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the engrossed second engrossed Senate substitute Bill 6039 be reported out of committee with a due pass.
As amended by the Environment and Energy Committee.
As amended by the Environment Committee. Are there any additional amendments?
There is an amendment.
And I will withdraw Amendment Eichner 323. Are there
There are no further amendments.
any additional amendments?
There are no further amendments.
Seeing no additional amendments, it has been moved and seconded that the engrossed second Senate substitute Bill 6039 be reported out of committee with a due pass as amended in the Environment Committee. Is there any discussion? Representative Rule.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I support this bill because geothermal energy presents an exciting alternative to fossil fuels. We have lots of work happening in the electricity space, but we also have this opportunity right here in Washington State to explore geothermal, which is very exciting, has been very helpful for both the economy and energy options in Iceland. And so I urge a yes vote. I understand that there are further discussions happening on some of the details, but I think it's really important that we move forward on this bill today. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion. Representative Abbarno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and we agree, and I'm urging a yes vote. Geothermal is nothing new. Actually, you don't have to go to Iceland to learn about or use geothermal. On the East Coast, there's a lot of geothermal throughout New England and New York and Pennsylvania. It's kind of surprising that Washington hasn't explored geothermal as an option, considering the amount of geothermal pockets we have, especially in Northwest and Southwest Washington. We need to always continue to look at how we diversify our energy portfolio. I think geothermal is one of those next steps as a way to help folks, especially in Washington State, to add additional energy on the grid or to provide heating energy. So it is an exciting opportunity for the state of Washington to join much of the rest of the country in their exploration of geothermal. So I'm asking for a yes vote.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, the motion in front of the committee is to move with the due pass recommendation out of committee and gross Senate substitute Bill 6039 as amended. I think we could do an expedited roll call vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Let the record show that Representative Cheney, Dye, and McIntyre are excused. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Staff will announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 26 ayes, 0 nays, 3 excused, and 0 absent.
By your vote, engrossed Senate substitute Bill 6039 is reported out of committee with a due pass as recommended. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that engrossed substitute Senate Bill 6040 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that engrossed Senate substitute Bill 6040 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Are there amendments?
There are. I move AMH 3428.2.
The amendment has been moved and seconded. Discussion. This amendment, as folks remember in testimony, this was a fairly complicated issue. So this amendment basically moves the process into CPARB, the Committee on Construction and whatever that committee is. I sit on that committee, actually, CPARB, but that's maybe not as formal as some people might want us to say, but all kidding aside, early on a Monday morning, it's an important committee where all the stakeholders are present, the contractors, the ports and schools that would be the clients, and the subcontractors and the minority contractors are represented there. And so we're hoping that they'll come back to us by November 1st of this year with a report as to how to structure this very important, I think, policy that we can look at in next session. So I would urge a yes vote on the amendment. Representative Steele.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too get the honor of serving on CPARB, and I think this is the right group to evaluate this potential policy. I also appreciate that the amendment does expand sort of the full breadth of small business while keeping the emphasis on minority-owned small business as well. So I think it's a good amendment and perfects the policy, and hopefully will give us a better opportunity, rather, to understand how this policy could be perfected in the future.
Thank you. Any other discussion? And just for the record, it is the Capital Projects Advisory Review Board, or CPARB, that was referenced in the amendment. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Madam Vice Chair.
Mr. Chair, I move that in gross second substitute 6040 be reported out of committee with a due pass as amended recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded that the engrossed second Senate substitute Bill 6040 has been to be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Final discussion. I would just urge the committee to move this policy forward so that we can resolve this as we talked about with the amendment that directed it to CPARB. Any other discussion? Representative Steele.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We agree. Move this policy forward and see what the report reveals in November.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I think we can do an expedited roll call vote. Staff? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. Let the record show that Representative Cheney, Dye, and McIntyre are excused. Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing no one, staff will announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 26 ayes, 0 nays, 3 excused, and 0 absent.
By your vote, engrossed Senate Substitute Bill 6040 is reported out of committee with a due pass as amended recommendation. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that substitute Senate Bill 6192 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
It has been moved and seconded that substitute Senate Bill 6192 be reported out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Are there amendments?
There are no amendments.
Are there no amendments? Discussion. Representative Abbarno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm urging a yes vote. Similar to the previous bill that we just voted on out of Executive 6040, we heard a lot of testimony both on this bill as well as that bill regarding wanting contractors and subcontractors to get paid, and that there's often some bottleneck where folks who can least afford to finance other folks are kind of stuck in that. What this bill would do is require a 30-day change order to be issued after satisfactory completion of the work. And we think this is a good policy to move forward, so I'm asking for a yes vote.
Thank you. Representative Levitt for further discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Also urging a yes vote. These provisions already apply to our public works projects. It makes sense for our subcontractors and contractors to get paid on time so they can continue their good work on other projects. Urging a yes vote.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I think we can go to an expedited roll call vote on the motion. All those in favor say, oh, we'll wait to get the sheet up there. So the motion before the committee is to report out of committee with a do pass recommendation, substitute Senate Bill 6192. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Let the record show that Representative Cheney, Dye, and McIntyre are excused. And staff, we don't have to note that 2 members are voting remotely. They're just, their votes are tallied.
And if you do, I think you just did.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, staff will announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 26 ayes, 0 nays, 3 excused, and 0 absent.
By your vote, substitute Senate Bill 6192 has been reported out of committee with a do pass recommendation. And that concludes our official business and actually concludes the capital budget meetings for this session, which is, I'm sure, a major disappointment for a lot of the members here in the hearing. But I do want to acknowledge, as we end this phase, and for those of us who are in the budget room trying to negotiate the capital budget, our work is entering a different phase. But just want to acknowledge everyone's participation on the committee and also our great staff. For, as those who know, we don't get anything done without great staff. Both are. And we were getting some support and cheering from the remote areas of the district. So, really appreciate Kelsey and Dawn, John, and then our caucus staff, and Sheila for your work behind the scenes, and of course our caucus staff, ranking member Abbarno.
Yeah, I would echo the chair's sentiments. This is really a good team, and a lot of these policies are fairly dense, and they include some of the policies that come from other committees, as well as a lot of fiscal analysis. So I just want to thank partisan and nonpartisan staff. I think one year, I think my first year, the chair said it was a crackerjack team, and they are. The things that we don't often see in the public eye are the tours we take all summer long that are organized by our staff, so that we can kind of have boots on the ground and look at what's going on in our community so we can better invest locally. And that's what this committee does, and that's what this committee is. So thank you very much for all your hard work, and looking forward to a joyous time over the next 10 days working with the other chamber.
Madam Vice Chair.
I just want to also continue to extend our deep gratitude to our staff. Shayla and Taya and Donovan, specifically behind the scenes, you've really helped keep us there. Charlie, you always keep us on the straight and narrow, and greatly appreciated that. And of course to Stephanie and Alec, just to make sure your names are in the record, along with Kelsey, Don, and John, on making sure that you know that we are deeply grateful, because we wouldn't be where we are today, and we wouldn't have the capacity to do what we need to do in the next week and a half with that chamber across the rotunda. So greatly appreciate you.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to tell the staff thank you for being patient with me, being new assistant ranking on here, especially Stephanie Barnett over there, and Kelsey, and then working with John on the school construction information. So I really appreciate your patience and your help this session.
And so just for clarity, thank you, Representative McClintock. Just for clarity, we did have another meeting scheduled on the 6th to go over interim planning, but the caucuses have decided to do that remotely by internet, and email, I guess, is the function, actually. But a lot of the interim work will be focused on the school construction thing that we've been talking about all session, and the need to resolve and get a formula that works for the many districts across the state.
I think it's in the chair handwritten letter.
Yeah. Snail mail to the aging chair. With no further business in front of the committee, we are adjourned.